I think the vast majority, I can make a philosophical argument about abolishing tracking, period. But aside from my lefty progressive educational politics, I'm going to leave that aside. I think most kids are probably pretty comfortable where they're tracked. I think most kids also complain a little bit if they're not in the highest track because they want to protest. They want to protest where they are, but they are in fact comfortable there. Okay? So the protest isn't really, I want to put myself in a much higher track and be possibly overmatched and overwhelmed. They just say, I want to complain about where the system puts me. It's ruining my self-esteem, but this might be the right work level. And that's a contradiction in kids. But I'm not somebody who believes that self-esteem is the motor of much of anything. I think self-esteem actually exists. You know, famously, the U.S. kids have very high self-esteem in math, but rank 13th internationally. You know, and Singapore kids have very low self-esteem in math, but they kick butt. Right? So that your self-esteem about yourself as a student is not that important to me. I think Americans, psychology and education went down the wrong road with self-esteem. So I don't think I'm sorry that kids feel bad about themselves. But tracking is an effort to protect some kids from being overwhelmed and to put kids, the real high flyers, where they need to be. And it's a deeply flawed effort. Schools are deeply flawed human institutions. But they are the way Winston Churchill described democracy. Deeply flawed form of government, just better than anything else we've ever tried. And I think schools are deeply flawed human institutions, better than anything we've tried. I mean, sometimes people come up to me and they say, you must believe in homeschooling. And I always smile and say, if I had homeschooled my children, I would have murdered them. I need my kids to go to school. I need them to have inspiring teachers. I need them to bump up against other kids. I need them to go through the rigors of middle school. I think there's a lot to be learned, but it's not an easy journey. But I don't think, as I say, I can make a strong philosophical argument against tracking as it is. But I would go talk to an educator if I thought my child were really underperforming because of the track that he or she was in. And I would take that up seriously with somebody because it's a worrisome thing. And I would say to my son, if he thinks he can drop down a track, I would say, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. That will not do. Right? Because we don't, I want to raise somebody with a good work ethic. And I think we all do. Thank you.